Lead one of the greatest historical empires, be it Rome, Egypt, the Gauls, Carthage, Persia, or Greece, by virtue of conquest, and cement your place in the annals of time. Hold any 5 forts and maintain them for one round for supreme victory. Welcome to Conqueror Final Conquest. The game here is set. Independent units are on the board depending on players as listed here, and when factions have been decided by players, they'll also randomly draw one of the 3 bonus missions for their faction. They'll have their hero cards nearby, which they can look at any time, and be recruited later on. Now each turn a player has is divided into 2 phases, planning and action. The planning phase is where they can recruit units and forts. Great forts, providing 2 infantry or 1 cavalry, and regular forts, only 1 infantry. And provided the new units don't exceed the food quota as listed here on the board. In this phase, they can also obtain currency from territories they control, purchase hero cards by paying the coin cost, and think of their strategy. This phase will be measured by a minute timer. Should they go over and still haven't moved one of their units to signify they've moved on to the action phase, other players can bribe one of their units. Now, for brevity of the video, we'll skip this explanation because, well, the chances of the active player not taking their action phase before this happens is close to nil. I'll explain later on in my final thoughts. When the active player moves the unit, they've entered their action phase. Each unit can either move or attack. Moving simply allows a unit to move to an adjacent empty territory. You can also attack an adjacent territory if it's occupied by another player or independents. This, of course, will trigger a battle. The attacker and defender can play any purchased hero they desire, but these are one-shots for the game, so keep that in mind. Then, both players roll 1 die. Infantry add 1 to strength, while cavalry add 2. Defenders also gain +1 to their total, or +2 if they're in a large fort, or +4 if they're in their home territory. If the attacker wins, they'll earn a coin. The defender loses units equal to the difference. Remember, cavalry are worth 2, and will have to move to an adjacent territory controlled by them or is empty. If this is not possible, they are all destroyed. The victorious attacker must move the units in, but can choose to leave 1 unit in the territory they attacked from. And the victorious unit gains 1 extra action, meaning they can attack or move again. Now, this can only happen once per round, so it can't stack. If the defenders win, the attackers lose units equal to the difference, and the attacking unit can no longer act this turn. Now, seeing as this is a war game, you'll try and gain territory that not only holds forts for victory, but obviously contain food supplies, so as to have a bigger army on the board, and currency for those expensive heroes. When all players have taken their turn, starting with the beginning of the second round, you will flip 1 Chronicle card over. Now, these are events that will shape that round, like plagues, having heroes cost less, or having players bid on defeating a common foe. When a player controls 5 forts and has done so for a full round, they'll be crowned victorious in the final conquest. So Conqueror has a classic risk feel, or many other war games feel to it, in the sense that you move units, conquer territory for resources, and chuck dice for battles. Now, besides the mechanics having a classic feel, the components and artwork also have that nice classic board game feel to them. Now, I like the whole bribing element that they tried to inject in the game, but for me, it just didn't work. Like, you have 1 minute to collect resources and recruit heroes and units, plan and make a move. But we didn't get why, after getting the resources and recruiting heroes and units, what stops us from moving a unit and planning the other actions for the other units in the action phase where it's not timed? Honestly, I feel like this whole system would have worked better with chits you place on your territories with units during the planning phase, and then you'd have to follow through with those actions regardless of what happens during your turn in other territories. Now, we also played this game at full player count, and honestly, you know how many coins and what you want to recruit during the turn of the previous player in the round. Like, it takes a whole big 10 seconds, and you don't really need the 1 minute timer. Like, I thought we were maybe playing wrong, but we found nothing in the rulebook contradicting this. Is there something we don't know? Like, on top of holding down 5 forts for a full round in a full player game, honestly was almost impossible. And if not impossible, well, surely it was taking a very, very long time. Add the dice that swing from 1 to 4, and, well, you can be here for hours. Now, don't get us wrong, some people like that, but for us, the tug of war was just too long winded. Granted, war games isn't really our bag, but to be fair, we absolutely loved Hellenika's Story of Greece for precisely the same reasons Conqueror does not. That said, if you do like to have a classic wargame similar feel that runs very simplistically with not too many rules, then Conqueror Final Conquest might be for you. For us, it was just okay. Again, I think if the minute timer would have had you program your units during that time with chits or mini cards, I think it really would have spiced up the experience. But for now, Conqueror Final Conquest gets a 5 out of 10. Enjoyed our review? Like the video and subscribe. You can also find us on social media like Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching. Until next time.